On the evening of June 8th, 2026, what began as an ordinary night on a quiet residential street in Belfast would soon become one of the most shocking incidents Northern Ireland had seen in months. Within hours, graphic footage would spread across social media. Politicians would condemn the violence. Police would launch a major investigation, and by the following night, parts of Belfast would be engulfed in unrest. But how did a single knife attack trigger such a dramatic chain of events? This is the story of the Belfast stabbing that sent shockwaves through an entire city. According to investigators, the incident unfolded shortly after 7 p.m. on Kinnaird Avenue in North Belfast. Residents later described hearing shouting coming from the street. Moments later, a violent confrontation erupted between two men. What happened next would leave witnesses horrified. Police say a man in his 40s suffered devastating injuries during the attack. Emergency services rushed to the scene after multiple calls from members of the public. Paramedics worked desperately to stabilize the victim before transporting him to hospital. Doctors would later confirm that his injuries were life-changing. Reports indicated that he suffered severe trauma to his head, neck, and eye. The damage was so serious that he was believed to have lost one eye. For detectives arriving at the scene, the attack immediately raised serious concerns. This was not a minor assault. This was a level of violence that suggested a possible attempt to kill. Officers quickly secured the area and began interviewing witnesses. Doorbell cameras, CCTV systems, and mobile phone footage became a priority. What investigators discovered would soon attract attention far beyond Belfast. Several videos recorded by witnesses began circulating online. The footage showed portions of the incident and rapidly spread across social media platforms. As the videos gained millions of views, public reaction intensified. Many viewers expressed shock at the apparent brutality of the attack. Others demanded immediate answers. Who was responsible? What had led to such violence? And was this an isolated incident or part of something larger? Within hours, police identified a suspect. The following day, authorities announced that a 30-year-old man named Hadi Al-Odid had been charged. The charges were serious: attempted murder, threats to kill, possession of a bladed article in a public place. The accused appeared before Belfast magistrates' court as investigators continued gathering evidence. At this stage, many questions remain unanswered. Police have not publicly disclosed a detailed motive. Investigators are still examining the relationship between the suspect and the victim, as well as the events leading up to the confrontation. Detectives are also analyzing witness statements, digital evidence, and forensic material collected from the scene. One of the most important aspects of the case is understanding what happened in the crucial minutes before the attack. Was there an argument? Was the victim specifically targeted? Or did events escalate suddenly and unexpectedly? These are questions prosecutors will likely address as the case moves through the courts. As news of the attack spread, another development began to unfold. Public anger was growing. By Tuesday evening, demonstrations had begun in parts of Belfast. Crowds gathered to express concerns and frustrations following reports about the suspect. What started as protests soon escalated. Police officers found themselves confronting disorder across several areas. Vehicles were set on fire. Property was damaged. Missiles were thrown at officers. Shocking images emerged, showing flames lighting up the night sky. For many residents, it was a disturbing reminder of how quickly tensions can spiral. Northern Ireland has experienced periods of unrest before, but seeing violence erupt so soon after a criminal incident left many questioning how the situation had escalated so rapidly. Police urged calm. Officials appealed for people not to spread rumors or misinformation online. Investigators stressed that the criminal case must be allowed to proceed through the justice system. The unrest quickly became a national story. Political leaders across the United Kingdom condemned both the original attack and the violence that followed. Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the stabbing as sickening and stated that violence on the streets would not be tolerated. His message was clear: those responsible for criminal acts would face the consequences, whether they were involved in the attack itself or in the disorder that followed. Meanwhile, detectives continued focusing on the victim. Hospital staff worked to treat his extensive injuries. Family members faced an uncertain future. A man who had left home that day expecting an ordinary evening now faced life-changing consequences. Cases like this often leave scars far beyond the physical wounds. Trauma affects victims, relatives, witnesses, and entire communities. The psychological impact can last for years. For investigators, every piece of evidence matters. Every witness account, every frame of CCTV footage, every forensic result. Building an attempted murder case requires proving not only what happened, but also what the suspect intended to do. That is often one of the most important challenges in court. Prosecutors will seek to demonstrate that the attack was carried out with an intention to cause death or catastrophic injury. Defense lawyers may present alternative explanations. The legal battle has only just begun. As the case proceeds, further details are expected to emerge. Court hearings may reveal new evidence. Witness testimony may provide a clearer timeline. Forensic examinations could answer questions that remain unresolved today. For now, however, much of Belfast is still processing what happened. A man lies seriously injured. A suspect faces some of the most serious criminal charges available under the law. And an entire city continues debating the wider consequences of a single act of violence. The story serves as a reminder of how quickly events can spiral. One confrontation, one victim, one suspect, and within 24 hours, a city thrust into the national spotlight. The investigation continues. The courts will decide the outcome. But for many people in Belfast, the events of June 8th and June 9th, 2026, will not be forgotten anytime soon. Because what happened on that residential street did not end with the flashing blue lights of emergency vehicles. It became a story about violence, fear, public anger, and the fragile line between a criminal act and wider social unrest. And that story is still being written.